And the recession has accelerated a new trend, the way we use our debit cards. Debit card spending now surpasses credit card spending in the U.S., and that means your bank wants to reward you for what you're buying. All right, here to talk about it, financial guru Howard Dvorkin in a segment sponsored by Consolidated Credit Counseling Services. All right, so debit card spending outpacing credit card spending. Why?
First time ever, simply, Dave, credit card companies are tightening their rein of lending money, so people are relying on credit cards now in order to make those same purchases. Also, for a bank, it's better to have people utilize their the debit cards than the credit cards because there's less at risk, but they're still making a significant amount of money by people utilizing those credit cards.
All right, so now with these debit cards, let's talk about some of those reward programs that are available to people who use them.
There's a lot of stuff going on out there. Banks are trying to promote the use of credit cards, and obviously it's working. It's sort of
debit cards.
Debit cards, right. I'm sorry. It's working because over the past 5 years, the growth has been significant. They're giving all sorts of incentives, reward programs like we're used to with frequent flyer miles. Also, they're giving additional services and increased interest in order to promote the use of debit cards, where it's kind of a weird that a bank is rewarding you money to use your credit card more than 12 times in a certain month. But that is happening out there.
So to make sense of it, X's and O's is really just kind of a simple way to do it. In other words, you're spending money to, in some ways, save money down the road.
Well, you are spending money, but it's better to use a debit card than it is a credit card. There's less landmines, let's say, because on a credit card, you're going and you're basically, a lot of the times, using money or spending money that you don't necessarily have. On a debit card, typically they're drafting from your account. Now, there are some drawbacks of using a debit card where somebody will draw from an account that is flatlining, there's no money in there, and basically the bank will turn around and charge you or surcharge you overdraft fees, which can be quite costly over time.
So if you make a charge on your debit card that you don't have money for in your account, the vendor will accept the card, and then later on you'll get charged for it.
Exactly. If you go to a fast food restaurant, order a $6 Happy Meal, that Happy Meal, if you don't have money in the bank when using your debit card, could easily cost you $40, $45 when you add on the overdraft fees.
And there's also a bit more of a security risk when using your debit card than your credit card.
Absolutely. Credit cards are much more secure because there's federal statutes that protect the consumer if somebody gets a hold of that number. Whereas a debit card has similar protections. However, to straighten out the account, it may take a number of days, usually somewhere around 10 days. So your account is essentially frozen. So basically, you got to keep track of who has your credit card information and make sure that somebody doesn't get in there and wipe out your entire account.
Okay, one-word answer. Is it still a good idea, considering all the positives and the negatives, to use the debit card more and more for these programs?
It's a good idea. I can't do one answer.
Okay.
But it's a good idea to use a debit card compared to a credit card. But the best idea is to use cash every time.
Well, there you go. Cash always. Howard Dvorkin, good to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
Always good to have you here. And you can check out this article on southflorida.com under stories we talked about today. Also, you can visit our money page to find out how to receive a free, no obligation online budget analysis.